Hey, Hannah Beardsley, I'm Mr. Lowe, and I've been teaching at Prairie Ridge High School since 2005 in the Industrial Technology Department, which is in the Industry and Careers Division at PR. And the classes I teach are the design classes. There are 2 engineering honors classes I teach, and then there are 4 CAD classes I teach. So all of you have a great opportunity to take some cool classes here. And the Project Lead the Way classes that I teach are the Intro to Engineering Design. That's the first class offered for freshmen through seniors. And I also teach the final capstone design class, which is Engineering, Design, and Development. The non-honors design classes are also offered here, and I teach the first class for incoming freshmen through seniors. And it's called Intro to Technical Design and Drafting, and second semester turns into Technical Design and Drafting. Sophomore year students have a chance to take Mechanical Design, which I teach, which leads into Architectural Design, and finally with Advanced Design. So I teach all the design classes for the CAD and also for Project Lead the Way. So these are the classes that I enjoyed growing up, and these are the classes that I still love, and they're very hands-on. We use a lot of cool technology, and so hopefully today you'll be able to learn a little bit about the opportunities that you'll hopefully look forward to, and also hear from some graduates to see how these classes have helped them in their lives after high school.
Hey guys, Mr. Goli here. I am the Autos and PLTW IED teacher here at Prairie Ridge High School. I graduated from Southern Illinois University of Carbondale. I studied automotive technology and engineering. This is what I have a passion for. This is what I enjoy teaching to you guys. So I'm going to start out with talking about IED a little bit. IED is a beginner level class for the PLTW engineering program. IED is a lot of fun. If you're wondering what do you do in IED, let me describe to you in 3 different parts. There's the brainstorming part where you think of different ideas in small groups or on your own, and it's problem solving. So you're basically thinking, what if, or I hate it when. I hate it when I turn the lights on and one of the lights is flickering. How do you fix that? And then there's the actual documenting part. You put all this in your engineer notebook, which is it's literally your everything. It's where you put every single piece of work that you have throughout the whole year. And then the last part of that is actually executing the problem. How do you fix this problem? After you thought of the idea, after you documented all the information, now let's fix it. How do you do this? Let's build it. One of the first things we do in class when you first come in the building is you do a design challenge. You come in, we give you limited resources, and you build something with it, and we find out who's the best one at building it. So that's a lot of fun. It's very challenging. It's a fun, it's a very fun learning environment. Very similar to autos. So the autos program that's offered here at Prairie Ridge High School, it can be taken out through the 4 years of your high school career. You start out with small engines in autos 1. Your freshman year, you go into autos 2 as a sophomore or junior, which is dual credit. And then when you go into auto seminar as a junior or senior, that's where you get to experience anything that you want to. So if you're wondering, what do you do in autos? Well, first off, I know that you guys are remote right now. Okay, autos is not remote. We are in person. Kids are getting their hands dirty every single day. It's lots of fun. They get to work on real life cars. Or just today we did an oil change on this Mercedes. Kids were in the building changing oil. And then we had kids that work on brakes and tires and so on. So small engines, you get a small engine, you tear it all apart, you put it back together and make sure it runs. You learn the theory behind how the engine works, the different components. In Autos 1, you learn about oil changes, tire changes, brake changes, saving yourself some money, being a better vehicle owner, and just learning the basic theories behind things. If you do enjoy it and you want to go into the trades maybe, or you want to get further education, Autos 2 is dual credit with MCC. So that class is lots of hands-on, lots of fun experiences that you get in here, and you get the college credit while you're still in high school. Okay? If you're then wondering, okay, what class is best for me? You gotta think about it this way, okay? IED is you document and you build. You have to do both. In autos, it's you build. You are in here, you're working on cars. They're both lots of fun. It's very similar in my opinion, because I study both, I enjoy both. It's just the engineering is the the theory behind it, and then autos is the execution behind it, and it's basically reversing it, you know, at some point in time. So then engineers have to know how to build things, and the autos people have to know the theory behind it. So I think that autos and engineering go hand in hand. That's what I'm talking to you guys about, autos as well. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, you know, via email at sagolli@d155.org, or you can find me on Instagram at Mr. Agoli. And we also have a YouTube channel that we're building here, so you guys will learn about that later on in the semester. Alrighty guys, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and have a good one.
Hey everyone, my name is Mr. Mundschenk. I'm an industrial tech teacher here at Prairie Ridge High School, and I'm here to talk with you about the Woods program. The best class for you to sign up for at this point in the Woods program is Woods 1. Woods 1 not only gets you trained safely on how to use the tools that you see behind me, but also you get to walk out with some cool projects, including a push stick, a cutting board, and a toy car. So some real cool things that you will make start to finish and walk out of class with. In addition to making those projects, we'll train you on using tools like our sander, table saw, chop saw, bandsaw, joiner, planer, and some other cool tools we have in the shop. In the higher level Woods program, Woods 2, we take a look at some deeper level projects and get you building those. And then in Woods 3, you take a look at our shop bot, which is this tool back here, a CNC router. So we'll make some real cool custom projects on that, and you'll be certified on that when you walk out of Woods 3. In addition to Woods classes, I also teach small engines and some engineering classes here at PR. So you can see me hanging out in the engineering lab and in our small engines lab as well, if I'm not hanging out in Woods. As you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us you see in this video, and we will look forward to seeing you in class soon.
By now you had a chance to learn a little bit about what engineering is, and it's the application of science, technology, engineering, and math to help solve problems to improve the lives of others. So in high school, there's an honors engineering course offered, and it's called Introduction to Engineering Design, also known as PLTW IED. It's 1 year long, computer grad credit, and you can earn possible college credit depending on where life takes you after high school. But students do need to meet the math placement requirements. Now, if for some odd reason you don't meet the requirements to get into the Project Lead the Way engineering program, and you still want to get some more skills your freshman year, we highly recommend taking Intro to Technical Design and Drafting, which turns into Technical Design Drafting second semester. And this is for both students who are interested in product design, blueprint creation, architecture for interior design, and working on hands-on projects. And for those students who want to learn about 2D and 3D design, this class is all about designing and building. It's very hands-on and project-based. But also for students who need an extra year to get prepared if they want to get into the Project Lead the Way program, but don't feel confident enough yet. So IED, it's 2 semesters. And in this class, you learn how products are invented, innovated, and designed from start to finish. You also learn technical design concepts and how to create 3D prototypes, work in blueprints. And most importantly, students learn how to solve problems utilizing the design process. So really, students get to learn how to take an idea and make it real, and everything starts with a sketch. So let's hear about what Project Lead the Way students have to say about the Project Lead the Way program.
Hey, my name is Will Anderson. I'm a senior in EDD, and I'm just here to tell you a little bit about the PLTW program as a whole. So I've taken all 4 years, and I've learned so many technical skills on the computer and with all the machinery that we use and hands-on. And I just love how we're always working in teams to solve problems that can affect a bunch of people, and how we can really come together and actually build things that work.
I'm Sarah. I am also a senior in EDD. I've also taken all 4 years of the PLTW classes. I think if you're interested in any sort of design or engineering pathway, this is definitely a class you'd want to check out, because then you know if you like it or not. If you don't really know what you want to do, if you like math, if you like science, if you like any kind of problem solving or hands-on skills, this is definitely a class to check out, because you'll really enjoy it. This class has definitely shown me so many more things out there in the real world besides just classroom activities, and I'm able to put together a bunch of different subjects to actually come up with a product, and I'm able to use my skills to solve problems, and then it could really show you what you can do with those classes.
In IED, there's a design process, and that starts with defining a problem, generating concepts, developing a solution, construction, testing a prototype, evaluating it, all the way to presenting a solution. And these are some student examples right here of a design process. You can see some of the work in the engineering notebook. You can see their blueprints, and then finally their solution. And this was a custom earbud project utilizing the laser cutter. Let's hear what students have to say about Project Lead the Way.
Well, I'm Aiden, and I really enjoyed having the hands-on and computer part of the class, just really getting introduced into engineering.
I'm Ryan, and personally I like basically everything that you're able to do with like workbenches, and a lot of the time you spend on the computer really helps you develop a lot of skills.
I'm Luke, I'm a sophomore, and I really like the hands-on aspect of this class and really fun projects.
I'm Matt, I'm also a sophomore, and I like the self-paced learning and the hands-on aspect.
I like the designing on online programs and building of things.
I also like designing on online programs. I especially like working in Inventor, which is like a digital 3D design thing where you can create what you want your product to look like on the computer.
In IED, it's very hands-on. Students will also learn how to design different types of projects, experience working on design teams, and also learn about different types of engineering careers. But a lot of times students are working together through the design process. And engineering isn't just for the guys, it's also for the girls. And the cool thing about our classes now, we have a very even mix of both guys and girls. So there's a lot of ideas and products we use that are not just designed for the guys. There's a large career demand for female engineers. And many engineering colleges offer full ride scholarships. So here's an example of a product designed by women in engineering for a company known as SPY. And they create different eyewear, from snowboard and ski goggles to sunglasses. Because you got to think about it, a lot of products are designed for both guys and girls, and a lot of companies want both guys and girls working for them to help come up with cool solutions. So let's hear from Project Lead the Way students about what the workload is like.
Okay, so the workload is like, it's not that much if you come in when you're supposed to and like you get your work done on your free periods or like during lunch periods, because then that makes it less stressful when you're like at home and stuff.
If you use your time wisely during class and actually get work done during class, you're not going to have that much homework.
I mean, I would agree with both of them. It's a very like a self-paced class, so as long as you don't procrastinate fully, it's not going to be like overloading stress all the time.
So some benefits of Project Lead the Way courses: it makes math and science relevant for students by engaging real-world hands-on projects. You learn these skills that can be applied anywhere in life, and you'll have the advantage when it comes to being admitted to highly competitive colleges and universities. And courses are nationally recognized by major universities nationwide. And like always, you can earn possible college credit with most of our Project Lead the Way classes. And outside of class, we like to take students on field trips, such as to the auto show. We like to include students in design competitions. And we also like to make sure that students are able to get outside of the classroom and visit colleges and universities. So the engineering lab is a busy place. Students are having fun. It is a rigorous curriculum every day, but we make sure that students are gaining real-world skills. So in the Project Lead the Way courses, it's all about understanding how to utilize the design process from start to finish. And now it's your turn. So here's your chance. Your task is to design, build, and test a paper airplane that can fly as far as possible. Materials: you get one sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper. You can use as many sheets as you want per prototype, but each airplane that you build, it can only utilize one sheet. The constraints: you have about 5 minutes to design and build a working prototype. The entire piece of paper must be used, and it can be modified any way possible. Here's your chance. So the design process starts off with defining the problem. So with defining the problem, you got to figure out what problem do you need to solve. Previously, you saw the design statement where you need to design, build, and test a paper airplane that can fly as far as possible. So you're going to start to kind of do a little bit of research. How do airplanes fly? What makes them go far? What makes them go straight? Next, we're going to generate concepts. This is where it becomes pretty fun. You're going to start to continue to research prior solutions that are out there. Sometimes there could be a good solution that already exists but needs a little improvement. And with this comes brainstorming. So take this moment now to brainstorm some possible solutions to a paper airplane design. And even if you're not good at drawing, still take the approach to draw as many ideas as possible. And there's never a bad idea. All right, time for the next step, developing a solution. So hopefully you had a chance to come up with as many ideas as possible, but now you're going to come up with what your plan is. So with developing a solution, this is where you create a detailed design solution. This can be sketches to directions on how to create it. It could be a detailed two-dimensional blueprint that shows front view, top view, right side view. It could also be a three-dimensional digital prototype. So take this time right now to create a blueprint or design or some sort of solution to help you create that final prototype. Now it's time for everyone's favorite part. This is where it becomes very hands-on, beyond the sketching and drawing, but this is where you start building. So step number 4 is construct and test a prototype. So in this step, this is where you start to develop a working model. And sometimes the first idea is not necessarily the final or best idea. You're going to plan and complete testing, collect and analyze some data. So let's start grabbing that sheet of paper, and you might use one, maybe several, and let's start building your design. And also at the same time, you can test it as well. And remember, the purpose of this test is to get your paper airplane to fly as far as possible. So now is your time to build. How's the building process going? If you need to, you can always look back on your research or some of your brainstormed ideas. If there were some ideas that didn't work out, the nice thing is that you can always refer to previous ideas. So remember, if you don't like what you've made or you don't like how it's performing, you can continue to analyze it and continue to observe it. And if it's not performing to your standards, make some changes, bend some edges, adjust the wings, or maybe you just need to start over, and that's okay. The design process is meant for you to go in a cycle and go back to previous steps. Now, while you're working on constructing and testing, don't forget to jot down some distances. Now, if you don't have a tape measure, you can always use your feet, and that's where the distance of feet came from. But most people's feet aren't 12 inches long. But what you can do is do your best and figure out which test flew the farthest and try to get an estimation of distance. Because at the end of this, the final step is going to be presenting your solution to your teacher. And your solution is going to be your final test, your final prototype. Maybe it took you 5 prototypes to get here. But eventually, you're going to have a final prototype that you are happy with your farthest distance. And finally, after about 5 minutes here for our mini design challenge, you'll have a chance to present your solution in farthest distance to your teacher. Could be now, or it could be after this, or it could be tomorrow. So make sure not to throw out that paper airplane of yours, and don't forget the distance. I hope you guys had fun working on this, and maybe you're able to hit pause and continue to innovate your idea, refine it, and make it fly as far as possible. So in IED, just like you experienced, there's many design processes, but there's a big mix of math and design and science and everything else. It's not just design and building all the time. But what's next after IED? Your sophomore, you could get into Principles of Engineering, which talks about the how things work. IED is about how things are designed. But in POE, we get into different robotic systems, automation, alternative energy, gears and ratios and physics. So when you think about it, it's taking all those different subjects and applying it to projects. After POE, your junior year, you can get into digital electronics, and almost every product we use, especially your phones and your computers, your Chromebooks, everything is electronics. So this class gets into, there's a lot of math and science, but also specifically covering concepts with digital electronics. And then finally, if you guys want to take it all the way, you can take the final capstone engineering course, which is engineering design and development. Now, these are all honors classes, and this honors level project lead the way class is where you take everything you've learned and you apply it to one project, and you have an entire school year to invent something. And by the end of the year, you present it to a real panel of real engineers, and it's a real working prototype. And hopefully there's a lot of opportunities that come out of that from the engineers who get to see your products. But what's next after graduation? So after you graduate from school, you're going to still have a lot more opportunities after taking these classes. So let's hear from current graduates who are in college or in the real world of engineering.
Hey everyone, my name is Jack Lamar. I am a Hannah Beardsley Middle School graduate from 2009, so a while ago. And I went on to Prairie Ridge High School, where I took a couple project lead the way courses. I took Intro to Engineering Design and Engineering Design and Development, the capstone course. And today I just wanted to give you a little bit of a story from my life of how those courses led to where I am now. Not now here, I'm actually in Belize on a little postponed honeymoon because of COVID, but in my career, it's been a long journey, and that journey really did start in the project lead the way classes in high school. There's really not many high school courses that you can directly look back and say that you wouldn't be in your career now without those courses, and specifically IED and EDD are those for me. Going from high school into internships during college, I interned at Sage Products in Cary, Illinois, which is now Stryker. And in my interview for them, I talked pretty much only about my EDD capstone project, which was a product development course, and really taught me all the fundamentals of problem solving, of working together with a partner and a team to get something done, and then convince people that it's a good product and that it's worth investing in. So that led to my first internship. That internship then led to me in my time in college during a summer interning down at Texas Instruments in Dallas, Texas. Everyone knows them for their calculators. I was a product marketing engineer for them, working on the autonomous driving product line. So basically computer processors that go into all the fancy cars nowadays that are doing the autonomous driving. So that was really exciting. And again, in that interview for that internship, I talked almost exclusively about my EDD project. So that's something that I can't say about as valuable as other courses were in high school, like calculus, like algebra and science courses. I didn't talk about those courses in my interviews. Now, those were fundamental to understanding how other things work in my career, but for a practical, this is what I did in this course in high school, and this is how it got me to where I am now. There's nothing that really compared to the Project Lead the Way courses. Where I am now in my career, I actually live in Durham, North Carolina. I work for a company called Cree Wolfspeed, and we manufacture electronic components for electric vehicles for their power systems. So to convert the energy from one point to another in order to make the electric vehicle drive and charge and certain things like that. So to get me there, I went to college at Iowa State University, go Cyclones, and studied electrical engineering. And really that whole journey brought me to where I am now. So I'm really happy with where I am, and definitely 100% the Project Lead the Way courses that I took in high school got me here. So I'm thankful to to Mr. Lowe, to Mr. Keppen, who was one of my teachers at the time, and to the whole Project Lead the Way curriculum for bringing me where I am now. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Everyone, my name is Kevin Gilbert. I'm currently a junior at Iowa State University studying biological systems engineering. I graduated from Hannah Beardsley in 2014, and I ended up taking 3 Project Lead the Way classes at Prairie Ridge High School. I decided to take these classes because, number one, my brother had taken them all before me, and he loved them, had nothing but good things to say. And number two, it was something that I was really passionate about, just the entire field of science, technology, engineering, and math. All those STEM careers sounded really cool to me. And I wasn't necessarily set on engineering yet, but I knew it was going to be a great door in opening up all those other opportunities and showing me what I could do with this career, and that's exactly what it did. They're not really specific that first year, so it really eases you into it, shows you the broad engineering field, not necessarily civil or electrical or mechanical. It kind of shows you just the whole process and how you solve problems like an engineer, and I really loved that, and ended up obviously taking 2 more after that. My favorite class was definitely senior year, engineering design development. Super fun class. You get to pick your partner, and you pick your project basically. The teacher's just there as a great resource to help you along the way and give you guidance, but you come up with your problem, you come up with different ideas to solve that problem. I did a fishing tackle box that was in the shape of a water bottle with one of my good buddies. So we came up with the problem and then how are we going to solve it? Oh, let's do a tackle box, and then we made prototypes. We used the 3D printer, so a lot of computer work. We made one out of PVC and wood, so you get in the wood shop. Just a great, well-rounded experience to kind of figure out what engineering is all about, and that's something that you're not going to get till at the earliest your sophomore year in college, like when I did, and I'd already had this experience. And at the end of the class, you get to present it to real engineers, and that's something that you still don't even get in college. You won't get that until you get an internship, and then you get to do a presentation at the end. So having this experience beforehand is really just invaluable, and I'd recommend anyone with any interest in any kind of STEM career to go into this class and see what it's all about and see if they're interested in it. Worst case, you don't like it. Best case, you find out engineering's the fit for you, and you go from there and you get college credit for these classes. So I'd highly recommend taking these classes. Look into it. Mr. Lowe's a great guy if you end up going to Prairie Ridge. Super fun classes there. I'm sure he can help if you got any questions about it. Thanks, guys.
Hi 8th graders, my name is Brianna Barillo, and today I'm really excited to get to talk to you about the Project Lead the Way, or PLTW classes. I'm currently an advanced quality engineer here at Stryker Sage in Cary, Illinois, and before that I recently graduated this past year from Milwaukee School of Engineering, where I majored in biomedical engineering and minored in math. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my experience with PLTW. It wasn't too long ago I was in your same position. I graduated from 8th grade in 2012, and that was the first time I heard about the PLTW classes. I didn't know that much about engineering, and I had no experience with it, but I've always really enjoyed math and science, and it sounded like something that I might really enjoy. So I decided to take the class, and I'm so glad that I did. The first class, Introduction to Engineering Design, you really get to understand what it could be like to be an engineer, and you also get an opportunity to learn and hear from different professionals. These industry professionals will tell you about their job, maybe what they do as an engineer, and you can see different roles to see how you would fit in, or maybe if you wouldn't like something. The projects that you work on are always super hands-on, and this was my favorite part. I love being able to take a project and actually work on it rather than just sit in a classroom and learn about it hypothetically. For all 4 years, I always had a hands-on experience, and also the teachers really let you take it and make it your own. They really encourage that if you're passionate about something, you try to bring that into the classroom, and they really encourage any unique ways to approach solving problems, which is not something you always get to do in other classes. So like I said, I ended up taking the classes for all 4 years. Then I took Principles of Engineering, Digital Electronics, and Engineering Design Development. All of these classes ended up helping me later on in college once I decided to major in engineering. Also, these classes actually helped me pick my university because that's how I first heard about MSOE. Once I got to college, I was able to use these experiences, so that way when I was taking these classes, it wasn't my first time working with the engineering process, and I was familiar with different aspects of it. I had a little bit of experience with coding, design elements, and other factors that actually really helped me. Now, if you are thinking about it, this is my advice to you. You will not regret taking an engineering class. If anything, you're going to have a lot of fun and learn something new, and at the best case scenario, you'll find a career that you end up loving. There's really no downside to it, so I think that if you're interested in STEM at all, you should definitely take the chance. Also, a little added bonus is that when I went to college, I was able to get a class credit for one of my PLTW classes because I met the specific criteria at my university, so one semester I was able to take one class less because that PLTW class had filled that requirement. So just a little added bonus, but I would say if you're interested in STEM, you have nothing to lose, take the chance, and you definitely won't regret it.
Hi, I'm Luke Annan. I'm a recent graduate from the University of Tennessee, where I got a degree in electrical engineering. I currently work for an engineering firm downtown Chicago called Sargent & Lundy, and we deal mostly with power and energy. I went to high school at Prairie Ridge, and in 2012 I graduated from Hannah Beardsley. I became interested in engineering just kind of growing up. I really enjoyed math and science classes, and then I do remember what really set me over the edge was the engineering week that we had in 8th grade, where Project Lead the Way team came in and talked about their classes, and then also real life engineers talked about their jobs and kind of what they do on a daily basis, and that really spiked my interest. And from that, I decided to take classes through Project Lead the Way, and starting off with IED, or Intro to Engineering Design, my freshman year of high school. I really enjoyed IED because there's so many different challenges and projects that you get to do during that class that really open your eyes to what you might be doing in some kind of engineering, and I just really had a great time in that class and wanted to continue that path. I also took mechanical design, which might be a little bit different name nowadays, but basically that class we had a go-kart engine that we took apart, and then everyone throughout the whole year and semester picked out different parts, and we would basically design them on the computer based off of their actual sizes and dimensions, and we would, once we had those together as a class, we tried to build the engine back together on the computer. So that was very cool, and we weren't perfect at it, but it was pretty cool to see towards the end of the year all the pieces fit together and the engine move on the computer. It was very cool. So Project Lead the Way is very unique because taking engineering classes in college and getting my degree, talking to other people, they really didn't have the opportunity to take engineering classes in high school. They were just depending on math and science and physics and stuff like that. So being able to take Project Lead the Way classes is very unique, and I would recommend it to almost anyone. Now, you might, if you're not super interested in math or science, I would still recommend it to anyone, just because engineering is problem solving, and if you can problem solve, you're going to be successful in no matter what job or what your future might hold. So, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ryan Gilbert. I am a second lieutenant in the Iowa Army National Guard. I'm an engineering officer currently serving as an infantry platoon leader. On the civilian side, I work full-time for Power Construction as a project engineer. I graduated Hannah Beardsley in 2010. Some of the reasons that I was interested in taking the Project Lead the Way courses, and specifically Intro to Engineering Design my freshman year, were my interests in science and math, as well as my desire to use creativity and problem solving that you really don't get in normal math and science. There are set parameters on how you can solve problems in mathematics, and there's one right answer in science, whereas engineering, you get to use creativity to come up with multiple solutions to different problems. So hearing about what Project Lead the Way had to offer, I wanted to at least investigate it and give it a try and see what it had to offer. So what I enjoyed most in high school about the Project Lead the Way classes was just how non-traditional of a class it was. It wasn't set up like a normal classroom. There wasn't really a textbook that we had to follow. Every day was something new. You were working in a group one day, the next day you could be working on your own on a project, you could be working with your hands, you could be designing something on a computer, you could be using the 3D printer, you could be outside testing some of those designs. It was always something new, and it kept it exciting and fun, and it allowed you to use your creativity and problem solving skills day in and day out like you wouldn't get in a traditional classroom. How it helped me get where I am today, I think all those things, problem solving is applied throughout engineering as well as really just any career field. Being a leader is all about being creative in your ways to approach problems and how to interact with people. So I really learned some of those fundamental skills in those Project Lead the Way courses and the Intro to Engineering courses and things like that. Additionally, I think plans reading was one thing that helped me throughout my career and helped me when I got to college. Understanding what a 3D object looks like two-dimensionally on a piece of paper and vice versa, looking at something two-dimensionally and understanding how that's going to be translated three-dimensionally. That's the bread and butter of construction, and I think that gave me a leg up above my classmates when we were taking our first engineering courses, and I already knew how to read plans. I didn't have to get calibrated on how to look at things on a plans view. I think 8th graders interested in STEM should definitely sign up for no other reason other than it's something new and it's exciting. It's different than your normal everyday science technology classes, and it allows you to kind of test the waters on engineering and what you like and what you don't like, and really that's huge in going into your senior year and looking at colleges and where you want to go and choosing a major to study. So worst case scenario, take a leap of faith, have some fun in the classes, and it'll only help you out in the future and set you up for success. So good luck.
So in these classes, it's all about the design process. So hopefully you get a chance to see what engineering looks like in the real world with the real company. So a lot of people are familiar with electric vehicles and alternative transportation. So I hope you enjoy this video about boosted boards, which shows the entire design process start to finish, which is similar to what you'll be able to enjoy in the Project Lead the Way engineering courses.